How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. And today we're going to talk about a thing that didn't come out in the US. And I think the only reason it didn't come out in the US is because it released in 1994. Now, I've talked about Saturday morning cartoons before and how Saturday morning cartoons for a lot of 80s babies and before was like a big deal. You wake up in the morning, you watch cartoons to a certain point, then you clean up the house or cut grass, or your mom and them put you outside and tell you go play until the street lights come on. And yeah, but Saturday morning cartoons were a ritual, and Saturday morning cartoons were how a lot of kids decompressed from the week. And until they debuted until basically the end of Saturday morning cartoons, the Smurfs had an integral part of NBC's Saturday morning lineup. Like every Saturday morning, you got the Smurfs. Gargamel trying to capture them to make pies out of them, and them just chilling in the village doing their Smurf thing. They had that weird season of the Smurfs where they kind of went either around the world or back in time, or both. I can't remember. They had human friends, and then they had the Smurflings, and they had there was the whole origin of Smurfette, where she was an experiment created by Gargamel to trap the Smurfs. And yeah, it was a whole lot of a whole lot. But you would figure there would have been more than just a couple of ColecoVision games based on the Smurfs. And in Europe there was, because today's game was released in 1994 on the NES in Europe by Infogrames, the same company that published Asterix, which we talked about earlier in the year. Today, we're going to take a look at the Smurfs. Now, because it's a European game, when you pop the card in, the first thing you do is select the language: English, French, Spanish, or German. And you go from there. And basically, you play as Hefty Smurf, and Hefty has to rescue the rest of the Smurfs from Gargamel. And you make your way from the forest, through a swamp, you ride a stork, and there's a bonus level where you're in a bubble and all kinds of stuff. Well, also, this game is pretty short. You can beat it in about a half hour if you know what you're doing. There are a lot of standard platforming levels. There's like an ice level and a flying level, and just a lot of standard stuff. But the problem is this came out in 94. And for whatever reason, the 16-bit ports of this didn't come out here in the States either. But we might not have really missed much, because yeah, it's the Smurfs, and yeah, the Smurfs are dope. The problem with this is that the Smurfs, as far as this game is concerned, is really generic. There's nothing that really sets it apart. Whereas Asterix, I don't know, there was a little extra charm about Asterix. With this, there's just Smurfs doing Smurf things, or not even really doing Smurf things. Smurfs doing Super Mario Brothers things. And it ain't bad, but it was done so many more times and kind of better in a lot of other places. Like we just talked about Felix the Cat. Felix the Cat is fantastic. This is just okay. It's pretty, but it's just okay. And the music is standard European NES game fare. It sounds like a European game, and that ain't a problem. But again, been done before. Now, if you decide you want a copy of this, a little legwork might have to be done. First of all, you got to make sure you have something that can play it if you get an official cart, because PAL games don't necessarily play well with the NTSC consoles and vice versa. You might be able to track down a repro of this, but the European carts don't cost a whole lot. I haven't seen a lot in a while though. I saw one for like $40, which, considering it's a late in life NES game and it's a European game, it ain't a bad price. But yeah, Smurfs ain't terrible. I would say try it out, figure out a way to try it out. It released in a lot of other places. The only one that officially got released here in the States was the Game Boy version, which is pretty similar to this. It's just Game Boy, not Game Boy Color, not Game Boy Advance, just Game Boy. So if you want to try it out, I'd say give it a shot. Figure out a way to play it and try it out. It won't hurt. It's just a generic platform that happens to have those lovable little blue people in it. This has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow.
8-Bit Animal.
Tomorrow, on the way out the door, Nintendo dropped off a perfectly pleasant little package.